go again. So the other thing you wanted to talk about were 1v1s,
Yeah,
Marauder.
yeah, I'll probably struggle on them, to be honest.
Mm, you see my Marauder now on your screen,
Oh yeah, I do.
right? So I mean, the like he has absolutely he doesn't even have a weapon or so, but just to have something nice on the video. No, the the thought process behind dueling other classes is obviously knowing what your win condition is and knowing what the other class's win condition is.
Yeah.
What tools you have to deny, or like so like how do you win a duel? You win a duel by doing more damage than him
Mm-hmm.
until one or the other guy dies. So basically, like so
Of course.
so you can deny or do damage yourself by using cooldowns the right way
Yeah.
and making sure that he does that not as good as you do. So when what you like have to look at first is what cooldowns does your class have and how do they affect the class that I am playing against. So your cooldowns are Obfuscate, Cloak of Pain, Rebuke, what? Undying Rage, Saber Ward, oops, your Vanish. Then you have a Grenade. I don't know if that's allowed in the duel thingy.
Yeah, not in the
No,
competitions. No
no,
grenades
no.
or med packs.
All right.
Stims are allowed, I think.
Okay. And then you have your CC abilities, Intimidating Roar, and Force Choke. These are the
Mm-hmm.
cooldowns that you have to play with. And then you have to use these cooldowns in the most efficient way depending on who you're playing against. So, for example, what, like, instead of now telling you when you're playing against this class and this spec and he's doing that, you should do this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell you the idea of like what you should think about, what you should do. So, for example, when you're playing against the dot class, you will get consistent damage all the time. So, Force Camouflage probably won't seal the deal because it's only lasts for 4 seconds, just like Undying Rage only lasts for 4 seconds. But
Yeah.
for example, using Cloak of Pain, that lasts for up to 30 seconds. Or using Saber Ward, which lasts for 12 seconds. Will probably
Okay.
do a lot more when you're playing versus a dot class. But of course, dot classes also have burst or higher damage abilities. And on some dot, like for example, on the sorcerer, the madness sorcerer, they're like you anticipating when he will use his death field, for example. That's very difficult. But for example, when he's using his force leech,
Yeah.
you can either, of course, interrupt that with
I'm not
your
gonna try to.
your interrupt or one of your CC, or you could use, for example, like you see him casting it
Mm-hmm.
on you, then use Force Camouflage and the cast gets cancelled, and then you can come out of the Force Camouflage immediately. That's like Force Leech is maybe like a little too weak to use such a long cooldown on it. But for example, when you're dueling a sniper with ambush, like the ambush does tons of
Yeah.
damage. Or so if if he's casting it and you can see the cast coming and you say, all right, the pain is coming now, I will vanish now. The cast will get interrupted because he loses his target. Or you
Yeah.
can say, yeah. Or you can use Undying Rage even when you are close to full HP. You can use Undying Rage just the moment the big damage comes to reduce the big damage that is coming for as good as possible.
Okay.
Stuff like that. Or when you are,
Yeah.
for example,
Heard, yeah, you should use like the big cooldowns like early as possible.
no, well, you should use them when the best, like you can use them early as possible if you think about using them again. But duels
Yeah.
usually don't last that long. When you are playing arenas or something like that with another guy, it can be useful to use them rather early on so you can have them back sooner.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, cooldowns are like these are very situational. They for example, obfuscate, right? If you use obfuscate on, I don't know,
Does it actually
sorcerer.
work on operatives?
No.
Something? No.
No, like operatives do, except for their basic attack, they only do yellow damage, so tech damage or force damage. Tech damage in the operative case. Also the same on the sorcerer, they only do yellow damage. So obfuscate is very, very weak, like week by week. I mean, it's absolutely useless versus them because you're not going to get anything out of it. But for example, when you're playing versus another marauder, like marauder versus marauder duels are always very interesting because they are, all the cooldowns, of course, the other guy has them as well, but all the cooldowns also work very well versus the other guy. So, for example, when you are going to duel another marauder, always, like you can say, okay, if I use my force camouflage at the start, he won't be able to charge me.
Yeah.
Because and I get the charge. Now you have to think, okay, is it worth it for me to use my force camouflage to get the opener? Probably not. Probably not. Because the force camouflage later on in the duel can give me 4 seconds of invulnerability while he might have his Undying Rage running, for example. So he pops his Undying Rage, I use my force camouflage, and then back off, or use one of my CCs, and then I countered his cooldown with my cooldown.
Yeah.
Example. Like, like that, that's what you have to think about. The other thing is when you are getting obfuscated yourself as a marauder, you have, like, it doesn't work on tech or force abilities. So while you are when you're getting obfuscated yourself, you should be looking to do damage with your force abilities. Your force abilities are Force Crush, Smash, Force Scream, the U thing, the single target one, what's it called? Crushing Blow, Raging Burst, I mean, of course. Raging Burst is also force damage. And not to forget, your Force Choke is also force damage.
Okay.
So when you're getting obfuscated, you should realize that, like, they're very fast. Okay, I'm obfuscated. Next 6 seconds, I won't be able to do any yellow damage. So I will try to use all my... I won't be doing any white damage. So I will try to use all the yellow damage that I have during that time. It's 6 seconds. 6 seconds is 4 global cooldowns. So I will, like, what are my... what abilities do I have that do force damage? Where will they put me in my rotation? And I use them. So, okay, I'm obfuscated. I will now go to use my Force Crush on him. And I will follow up with a Force Scream who's free because I just charged the guy. And then the last global cooldown, I'll use a Force Choke. And then follow that up with a Smash. Something like that. And then you basically, you successfully denied him his obfuscate. And then if he starts going ham on you and wants to ravage you or stuff like that, you can obfuscate him then. And if he's not as smart as you are now, he will then use additional white damage abilities on you. So you will take less damage, or he does less damage than you do during the obfuscate windows.
Okay.
Like that's very, very nice to see.
So yeah, I mean, awareness of the cooldowns and everything is obviously high priority.
And the other thing that is very important that many people, for whatever reason, like haven't figured out or are not doing, is that you try to kite away while the enemy has his cooldowns running. Because as I said, it's a damage race. But when the one guy popped his cooldown, you're not doing as much damage as he does. So, like when the guy popped his, like you're dueling another Marauder or a Juggernaut or a Shadow or whatnot, and he popped his Saber Ward. It lasts for 12 seconds. Or he popped a Saber Ward. I'm not going to do as much damage to him as he will do to me. So now I will try to use my Force Camouflage or something like that and try to kite away from him.
Or like
and so,
or something. Or just predation or something.
That probably won't work because he'll just has all the gap closers to to get to you. Like the other thing is, he popped his Force Camouflage. Lasts Oh no, he propped this. Yeah, Saber Ward lasts for 12 seconds. What is the best way I can waste the 12 seconds of him now? For example, I have Intimidating Roar. Does he have a breaker? Maybe he broke my Force Choke earlier. Like while he obfuscated me, then he obfuscated me, and I broke his Force. Then I used all my abilities, and then I used the Force Choke, and then he used his breaker on the Force Choke. Now he doesn't have a breaker anymore. All right. So now we are dueling, continuing the duel. Blah blah blah. He's doing Saber Ward. I'll use my Intimidating Roar after he used the Saber Ward, because then he's just standing there, and his Saber Ward is ticking down, and you are saving all your damaging abilities for when Saber Ward is running out. If you were allowed to use grenades as well, you could also follow that up if the resolve bar allows it to.
Yeah, of course.
Like and lengthen that CC even more, and then almost completely denying him his big 3-minute cooldown. I mean, if that doesn't work, of course, you can just go for like 6 seconds and use these 6 seconds to run away from him, kite around a pillar, and then wait it out. And then when Saber Ward is gone, you go ham on him again. Stuff like that.
Cool.
So these are like the thought processes you have to have, or when you're playing against an assassin or so. Like when he pops his Force Shroud, you can't do any force damage, so you want to do as much white damage as you possibly can. When he pops his deflection, I mean he's CC immune at that point, but you can like still try to maybe try to kite away from him with your force camouflage and stuff like that. So you're denying him his CC like that. If it's
I think assassins are difficult. Well, all stealth classes as Fury, I find they're much easier to kill in Annihilation. You just pop a dot on them, and it should bring him back out of stealth.
But don't they have all the tools to remove the dots on themselves, so they don't pop out immediately?
They should do.
I mean, when I am, it's a long time ago that I dueled stealth classes on a Marauder. But I mean, the thought process should be the same. So he has some burst, like he has this burst rotation where he opens up on you, gets all his crits, and will unload tons of damage on you, and then he will want to vanish and then do that again, and you can't retaliate. So basically, you have to then like try. Okay, he's opening up on me. He's unloading a lot of his damage. What can I do to deny him that unload damage? Like for example, I could just start with the standard Cloak of Pain and reduce the damage as well. Like in the BG, you could use the Adrenal, and then just pop these 2 weak defensive cooldowns together, and suddenly you have a strong defensive cooldown. And he will use a lot of his burst into your defensive cooldowns. Then his burst is gone, then he starts his normal rotation while you are, I mean, obviously you're not just going to stand there and let him hit you for free, you're obviously going to hit him as well.
Yeah.
So you can like, okay, start hitting him as well. Start your rotation like you would normally with as much damage, and then react to what cooldowns he's popping. He's using Force Shroud. Alright, I can't use Force Scream now, and I can't use my Raging Burst now. I will just continue with my other abilities. Because using other abilities is still better than using no abilities. Right? Okay, now his Force Shroud is gone. But he popped Deflection. Alright, time to unload all my yellow damage abilities on him. Then alright, now he popped, I don't know, some other stuff. Whatever. Okay, now I have to kite. Make sure that I can deny him as much damage as I can and wait for my big combo to come up again. And this is stuff like you can think about that for all the classes. There's the sniper, he's using his ambush. Okay, I have these tools to avoid his ambush. What tools does he have to avoid my damage? Maybe he has like a knockback or something. Okay, if he's knockbacking me, I'm rooted. What root breakers do I have? Do I have to use my stun breaker to root break, or can I use, I don't know, I think, like, am I close enough to obliterate him? From the 10-meter range. I think there's also like a new talent. Saber Ward grants immunity to stun, sleep, lift, and incapacitating effects for 6 seconds. Pretty sure that also, yeah. So Like, you know, okay, that guy is going to want to knock me back. Like, that guy ambushed me, and I avoided his first ambush with my camouflage. Then he wants to unload on me again. After that, I will pop my determine like my saber ward. Then I can take all his beating and still doing tons of damage on him, and he can't even CC me during that. So that's free damage for me.
Mhm.
Stuff like that. So then basically comes to the point where you're countering his cooldowns with your cooldowns.
Yeah.
Like that's like it's like in chess, where when he's doing that, I will do this. If
Correct,
he's
yeah.
doing this, I will do that. And then when you have figured out, like I don't know how long you played the game, how many other classes you have played, how high your experience is, like how well you are aware of what the other guy is doing and where he is in his rotation, for example. What procs does he get? Did he get himself already? Can he ambush me in 1.5 seconds already, or does he still need 2 seconds or 2.5 seconds to ambush me?
Mm.
Stuff like that. So this is like stuff you have to consider. And then, of course, when you are dueling against other players and you already know your shit, like you know, all right, Obfuscate is very good versus Ravage. If he's popping this cooldown, then I should only use these abilities. If he's using that cooldown, I should use that cooldown to counter that. You can, of course, force the guy into making mistakes. Like you could, for example, when you get the opening charge, you charge a guy, and you immediately start with your Ravage. And all right, now you know. Okay, I'm ravaging. Now there are a few things that happens. Either he takes the full damage, that's good for me, or he's using, or he will use a cooldown. And because you are anticipating already that he will use a cooldown or something like that, you can then already know. Okay, I am attacking that guy. I ravage him. I know that he will obfuscate me because that's the logical decision here. So if he obfuscates me, I already know the next 3 global cooldowns in advance that I will use. And I use them, and I know that I will use them because I know that he will obfuscate me. And if he doesn't obfuscate me, I will just kill him.
All right. Yeah,
So
that makes
this
sense.
is like the thing you have to think about when dueling other classes.
Mhm.
Are you following me? So
No,
like
no,
the-
no. Yeah, that
Okay.
totally makes sense. Yeah. You wouldn't like cancel the Ravage then, or
Yeah.
you just continue on with it, even though if he's obfuscated, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Do you have anything? Like I think like this is the thought process behind dueling. And
No,
dueling,
no,
you,
it makes
I mean,
sense. Yeah. I
dude,
just
when
wondered what like utilities you would take.
ooh, what utilities I would take? All right, let's have a look. Hmm. Cloak of Carnage is good. You probably don't need Rage one, especially not when you're playing Fury, because if you manage your shit right on Fury, you should never ever have Rage problems at all.
I normally take that one because of the reduced cooldown on Unleash.
Yeah, but when you're dueling, Unleash has a 2 minute cooldown. The duel probably won't last 90 seconds.
Yeah, I
So,
suppose.
you probably won't.
That's cool. Makes sense.
Ravage Root is good for whatever you're doing.
Is it really? Because I find like in regular war zones as well. Like, there's
Yeah.
so many ways to break the.
Yeah, but
Ravage.
it's the same thing. Like when you have that talent, you're at least forcing the guy to use something to break
I
it.
suppose, yeah, yeah.
So
That makes sense.
like obviously like BioWare could have made it in a way there are not as many routes,
Yeah.
but then again there are also not as many ways to break routes. Instead they chose to give everyone routes and everyone route breakers. Well, that's like their decision, but
Yeah.
yeah. And then of course the stun immunity.
Mhm.
Like when you reduces damage taken from area effects. Like this is all like stuff. I'm not playing against a class that is doing a lot of AoE damage, like
Yeah. I
a
wouldn't
pyro
normally take that.
pyro PT or so. Pretty straightforward. Like if you're playing against a marksman sniper who only does single target DPS, you probably won't need AoE damage reduction.
Mhm.
I think this is very strong because it's a slow, and that slow will always like, because the enemy will probably also have a slow on you. Just basically like
Okay.
he has a slow on me, I have a slow on me, we're all both slowed, so I can stick to my target. Very good. This one is very good because like it's an additional stun breaker, almost.
Okay.
And okay, now how many can you put in these? Can I put 3 here, and 2 here? I think. Is that how it goes? Because my Marauder is only level
I
55.
think it's 2 in Masterful and 2 in Heroic. Normally I'd take Phantom and what's the other one? Just above the left one to the left. That's it. Yeah, Relentless.
No, I mean, Predation is such a niche ability. It's good in some situations, but on many situations you are just happy with the normal Predation you have, and in many situations you would rather just have the damage from the 30 stacks you use for it.
Yeah.
And yeah, then for like the Mad Dash Root Breaker, like that's what I said. Everyone has a root, but everyone has a Root Breaker now. So
Yeah.
that's probably very good.
I don't know if that works though. The Mad Dash one. It seems to only work on like slows and stuff. Not
But-
actually on stuns or mezzes.
No, no, not on roots, but on root. Like not on stuns, but it should work on roots. Like when like you could think about, okay, that guy is ravaging me. Instead of obfuscating him now, I will just Mad Dash away.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
And then like leap back.
Yeah.
in or something.
Like Undying Rage plus 2 seconds is probably very strong in duels.
Mhm.
Root Breaker on Predation. You have so many Root Breakers already that you probably don't need it. Plus you're also wasting your stacks and shit like that.
I think that's just a PvE thing, expansion came out, isn't it?
I think this is very good because you're using these filler abilities all the time.
Okay.
And in Cloak of like when you use Cloak of Pain, you are essentially in heavy armor class, while only being medium armor. So I think that's very good. And the root on Crippling Slash. What the fuck happened?
Yeah, that's a really cool ability for trolling. Especially when you got the.
I mean, the like in this game, there's so much CC and so many now buttons you can press to avoid the CC that guy who has even the most CC, like even more CC, is the guy that has the advantage. So if you can get like an additional root, take it. If you can get additional root breaker, take it. Stuff like that. Like that. This is the thought process that I have. I would go for inescapable and probably through victory or undying.
Okay. Would that not be good? Bloodborne. I'm not sure how much of a good heal it is.
Like that's like in duels maybe, but it probably like is like it only works when you are like it heals you for. No wait, it does. Every 1 second it heals you for. And well, that's very strong actually. It heals you for 35% if you're getting hit all the time. But of course that only works when you're playing versus bad people
Yeah.
who are hitting you
Stop
while
hitting
that
you.
shit is running. So
Of
like-
course. But would dots apply?
Yeah.
Okay.
that applies. I mean, do you remember back in the days the focused enrage or something like that on the Juggernaut?
Yes.
Where it didn't have an internal cooldown, and then if you had dots on you, you would like heal to full
That's ridiculous.
immediately. No, but yeah, like that's what I would go for duels. But then again, like all these utilities, they're very situational. They also depend on your play style. Like, for example, you don't need a self heal on your shit when you're running around with a healer,
Of course, yeah.
right? Yeah, you don't need a root when you know the guy you're playing against, like is a power tick or something like that, who just doesn't give a shit if you root him or not. So Like that's the things you have to think about. Like I don't know if
It's, yeah, very difficult in duels and stuff.
yeah, I mean like I mean the thing is you have to understand what your class does. Like it does high burst damage, it has a mix of yellow and white damage, it has this and these cooldowns, and then you have to understand what the other class does. It has like it only does white damage, it only does yellow damage, it has constant damage, not a lot of burst damage. I have to do this and that to like I have the tools. How can I use these tools the most efficient way to win the duel? Like to use them beneficial for me.
Yeah,
And of course
course.
these mastery points are also a part of that, but unfortunately, I'm sorry for that. I haven't spent enough time in studying all of these now
That's
since
all
the
right,
patch,
man.
and to give you an answer that is like if you have to take these or that. But now that I look at them, I'm pretty sure that you can just yeah you will figure out yourself
Yeah.
fast enough what is the best in what situation.
Yeah, it's all new, the
Yeah.
new patch and everything, isn't it? But what stats are the best to go with? I mean, I've gone with like crit augments.
Oh, when it comes to stats, I still haven't done the math myself, but what I have heard is that it doesn't really matter what you put in, as long as you put in something. The difference between main stat and crit is like 1% or something like that. So it doesn't really matter what you put in, as long as you put in something.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Cool beans.
All right.
All right, cheers, dude, for the help.
Anything else? Yeah, sure. I hope you have no problems if I upload this video on YouTube.
No, that's cool.
Okay.
Man.
All right. And I hope I help you, and good luck in the tournament. Is it like the tournament with Snave and stuff?
Yeah,
You
so
organize it? Yeah. All right.
I'll be on Lily Dallas, so hopefully I'll
Well, you should be able to beat Snave in a duel.
I don't know.
He is not very good.
This one last time.
You should do that. He's always just dripping around the normals. He's always doing objectives, never fighting people. So you should be able to beat him.
I love Snave. He's a good lad. But,
All right.
All
All right.
It raised the heartbeat last time when I dueled him.
All right. All right. Well then, good evening, and
Cool.
Yeah.
Cheers for your help, man.
yeah. Bye bye.